first run in New York, it was for Vince Sr. in the early '80s, correct?
Yes,
You came in as just a regular white meat baby face, more or less. That
exactly.
was your role. What did you think of working for Vince Sr.?
I love Vince Sr. He was great. He was awesome. I mean, he was the first guy to send me to Japan in '81. Um, I thought Vince was like the epitome of integrity, and he could motivate the whole room and captivate the whole room, and you knew he was telling you the truth. Whatever he told you was the truth. And um, he watched out for the people that he liked. I'm very thankful that he liked me. Actually, Vince Senior put the B in my name. My nickname's always been B. Or actually, to my some of my siblings, it was Bieber, and that became Beeper with Dusty, and da 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 da. B. Brian Blair was. I've always been, you know, people call me B. My siblings, because they couldn't say Brian, and my mom would call me Bieber, and it's before Justin Bieber. And um, so one time Vince Senior said, "Hey Brian, you're coming in. I'm excited about you coming into the territory." Da, da, da. He said, "I was just thinking, why do they call you B or Bieber, whatever that is? Why do they call you that?" And then I explained the same thing I just said to you, Mike. And he said, "Well." He said, "I got a phone book here, and I'm looking in the phone book." He said, "Man, I see a lot of Brian Blairs, but I don't see any B. Brian Blair." He said, "You want to be B. Brian Blair?" He says, "I think that's got more of a ring to it." And I said, "Sure, absolutely. I mean, it's what it is." And so um, then Rick Draw used to call him Quick Draw Rick McGraw. It was funny. I missed that guy. He said, "Hey, Triple B, Triple B." And then guys would call me Triple B. And just Vince started that. And Vince Sr. I'll never forget when we were at TV tapings. I think it was in Hamburg. And we're waiting to go into the bathroom. And uh, I'm sitting talking to Hulkster, and Vince was waiting in line. There was maybe 10 people in front of us, and then Vince, then Terry, then me. And Vince and Terry are talking mostly, and I'm just listening, grateful to be there. And um, Vince's turn, he goes in, pees, the door's still open, there's talking, da 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 da. And Terry's turn. Vince Lee turns around, walks off. See you guys in a minute, whatever. Terry looks down. He goes, look, look. I said, "Oh," and the whole toilet's full of blood. I mean, just pure blood. And we didn't know Vince had prostate cancer. And, he just filled that toilet with blood. And soon after that, what was he, a year to a couple of years, maybe he was gone. But I'll never forget that. It was kind of a strange way to find out someone's sick.
Wow. Oof. Any advice Vince Sr. gave you that you carried throughout your career?
Uh, you know, just be happy. He's always telling me, "Hey, you're always smiling, you're happy, you make me happy. I like to be happy." He said, "Always be happy, Brian, always be happy, make the most out of every situation. Be the best you can be, and don't let anything get you down." He was a good motivator, and I remember him telling me those things. And I've tried to pass them on to kids. I've coached little league for 20 seasons. There's 2 seasons a year when you're coaching little league, and just coach football, wrestling, lots of wrestling. And I love kids, love helping kids, and love helping people in general. And uh, I would use a lot of the things, motivational things that I would learn from people like Vince Senior. Staying
How,
positive.
I don't want to ask dollars and cents, but just in general, how was Vince Sr.'s payoffs compared to other territories?
Um, he paid well. I mean, he paid very well. I mean, I always saved money. It was always drilled in me. It's not how much you make, it's how much you saved. And when I was young, first starting the business, I listened to this tape called The Richest Man in Babylon. And the whole premise was saving 10% of your money and you put it into an account. If you make $100, for example, to make math easy, you put $10 into an account before you pay your rent, your gas, anything. You got to pay this bill. And I started doing that. And actually, that's, I gave Vince Jr. my notice in Salisbury, Maryland. And I knew I had money, plenty of money in the bank, and I wanted to open up a Gold's Gym. I mean, I was getting tired. We had just wrestled 67 days straight. Uh, Zell, Valentine, Beefcake, and I were on this unbelievable tour. We were in like 5 different countries, 67 days without a day off. Jimmy said it was 72 days, but I thought it was 67. But anyway, whatever it was way too long. You're talking about almost 3 months, 2.5 months without a day off and flying and driving and flying and driving and wrestling and working out. Fortunately, I didn't have children at that time. Brenzel did, so it was very hard on him. Jimmy, I felt bad for Jimmy very, very often. He would call. And I mean, I remember being in Australia. Jimmy's talking to his wife and he's missing his daughter's graduation from kindergarten or whatever, or ballet performance, whatever was going on. And it
Right.
seemed, so wow, golly, we give up so much, we give up so much for our families, and all the guys do, everybody in this business, you know how it is, Mike. You got to give up a lot, but it's addicting. You start entertaining the fans and you get out there and you've got being in front of 10, 20, 30,000 people, 90,000 people, whatever the case might be. Even when I was in front of 100, few hundred people, I would always work hard and enjoyed the ability to kind of control the emotions. You can make them laugh, you can make them cry, you can make them happy, you can make them sad, just mad, you can make them very, very hot. So, uh,
How do you
interesting.
compare Vince Senior to Vince Junior?
Vince Senior to Vince Jr. would be shoot, it's very, very different. Not the junior, for example, we were promised the belts 3 times there, and it still irks me that we didn't get the belts. It was always some kind of excuse, and for some reason, Dynamite had a problem when they were supposed to drop them to us. And um, so that part I wasn't real happy about, but I had a lot of fun with Vince Jr., whereas Junior and I became like more road friends, if you know what I mean. We would travel because Terry and I being so close, Hulkster and I being so close, Vince would always want us to go. Of course, he, you know, always want Terry there, and I happened to be there, I guess, and just on the Learjets, limousines, all that stuff. But we had a lot of fun. So something that I wouldn't have done with Vince Senior, that's for sure. And we just had some great times together. I mean, I remember being in the hotel room in Detroit before WrestleMania 3, and Vince hung up the phone, and God damn, this is going to be a huge success. We're going to sell out. Oh man, he was on cloud nine. Steve Taylor was there, the photographer. Uh, this is all good stuff.
Brian, I could talk to you for the next 2 weeks. We haven't even scratched the surface of your great career. If someone wants to learn more about your career, is there something they should pick up anywhere to learn
Absolutely.
about the man himself?
Yeah, man, this is it. I'll tell you what, everybody that's read this book, truth be told, honestly, everybody. I mean, go to Amazon and look, and sell it on my own website, or Amazon. And I mean, I've said it before. I'll give you twice your money back if you don't like it. I'm gonna ask you a few questions to make sure you read it, but nobody's ever said they didn't like it. I mean, it's just Ian Douglas is an incredible. I mean, Steve Kern's books are great. He's just coming out with his second one, and the books Ian Douglas does are fantastic. The guy's brilliant. And
What is your website, Brian?
my website, well, I didn't talk about the Cauliflower Alley Club, so that's my website. go to caulifloweralleyclub.org because that's what I live for right now, besides my family is and my good friends and the good people of this world is my colleagues. And so I work hard at the Cauliflower Alley Club, and you can go to caulifloweralleyclub.org, and for $35, you can become a member. And that's so important to me because, you know, we help so many of the wrestlers, and I've been the president and CEO for over a decade, and we have just grown by leaps and bounds. I mean, we just had an unbelievable reunion. And if you haven't been to a Cauliflower Alley Club reunion, you have no idea what you're missing. So, uh, caulifloweralleyclub.org. My personal website for the Killer Bee store is the killerbees.net/store.